this week we're throwing chairs at a game that's hilarious to play while you're drunk. This is Epistory, typing Chronicles from Fish and Cactus, developed on the Unity engine. And you can pick it up for around 15 of your regional currency. It's about what it costs. And what is it? Epistory immerses you in an atmospheric action-adventure game where you play as a girl riding a giant fox. I want to stop right there before I get flagged by the FCC. Now, who fights an insectile corruption from an origami world. As you progress and explore this world, the story literally unfolds. The mysteries of the magic powers of the words are revealed. And full disclosure, these guys did send us some keys. Good on them for that. We love you. But they still got to face the CHAIRQUISITION. 1 chair means that it's garbage. 2 chairs means that it's marginal. 3 chairs means that's pretty good. 4 chairs means that it's amazeballs. So, folks, Ben, does this game make with... Oh, yeah, we also got a categories of doom. How about that? Makes with the working shiny sounds, controls, and fun. I have been doing this for 3 years. What the fuck am I talking about? Ben, does this make with the working...
I just thought I'd throw that in there at the end. How does it make with the working on the Ubuntu 1404? 8150, slightly overclocked to 4.0 gigajoules. 980 powered 4K displayed box of the business. Well, the first thing you're going to notice, Brad, is the Unity screen of nope. But, you know, boom, you're just going to lose a chair for that. Sorry. New rule. After you get through with that, you just know that the in-game options are going to basically consist of volume sliders. And lo and behold, the only options you have in this, Brad, volume sliders. That's pretty much it. Originally, I thought this game was locked at 60 FERPs on the 980. Because VSync, you know, I was reading in the discussion forums and like, yes, we've added VSync. And I was like, you didn't add an option for it. But it turns out if you cut this thing down to fugly on a 980, it'll get up to about 70 FERPs because it sure as fuck and all struggles to maintain 60 at 1080p. Such a peasant resolution, a low resolution, again, on the 980. And one thing that kind of threw me off, which I really wish they would add, is it's a typing game. It only has American English. And I was like, could you please add English? Because I like throwing in random U's into words. But I'm going to give it 3 chairs.
And by the way, that was words and chairs both spelt with U's. Yeah, seriously, you guys. Unity screen, come on. It's 2016 now. I thought we're over this shit. -1 chair. And, I mean, this thing... I mean, it looks pretty. We'll get to that a little later. But it struggles to maintain 60 at 1080. And there's some serious stuttering issues, especially when there are cinematics. It's pretty miserable. Not enough to ding it that second chair, but it gets 3 whole chairs.
On what?
On the i7-6700K NVIDIA GTX 980 powered box of business with the 4K monitor. I didn't even bother trying to play this at 4K. It's not happening. Ugh. Nightmare.
You see, I'm pretty sure this is either a Unity 3 or one of the early Unity 4 versions, because it has one of those stupid locale-based bugs that if you have a non-English locale defined in your Linux distribution, the game's physics will just go apeshit. Quite literally. I mean, to the point where if you hit shift for the fox to do, you know, the little sprinty bits, it will just start going so fast you can't see anything, you can't control it, you can't do anything, you just have to hope that it hits a wall and stops, because it's impossible to control it otherwise. There is a way around it, which is when you add L.C _ all equals C, command percentage to the Steam launch options. But that didn't fix the other issues I ran into. You see, at the start of Chapter 2, you have to go into the drowned halls and unlock the ice power. The ice power allows you to break those bits of floor that have some teeny tiny icy bits on them. It's the usual stuff for this kind of game, and it didn't work. You literally cannot progress past the second chapter because of that. The game is broken, and I know it's broken because I'm not the only one. If you go to their Steam community forums, you'll see the very first thread that shows up is actually a bunch of people complaining about this. And review time's here, and they still haven't fixed it. So, on the FX 8370E overclocked at 4.2 gigahertz with the GTX 970 Strix running on Fedora 2364-bit, it gets 1 chair.
Yeah, I too ran into the typing issue in the Drowned Temple, but we'll get to that in the fun segment. That's 2 chairs for Mix with the Working. Up next is Shiny and Sounds.
Well, what does the fox say? More importantly, what does the fox look like? Because remember, this has like 90 tails on this fox, because don't sue a Sega. That's a thing. The overworld is fuck mothering gorgeous. Let's just get that out of the way. I mean, the tiles, the way it lays out, and, you know, the scratchy, scribbly writing. And I was like, oh, that's really beautiful. The monsters are like, meh. Then you have your dungeons, your underworld bits. They look all right. Progressively, you know, some are hit or miss. Nothing bad, nothing to hate on. Really bright color palette on top of the overworld. Surprising to see. When it comes to what it sounds like, the voice works there. The last that was reading it, it's well done. You're reading a story, but still very competent, and you don't really have much in the way of sounds. I mean, there's a little bit of background music, and there's that pew or whatever when you actually manage to type a word correctly, which is a hit or miss. The one thing I'm going to have to ding it a chair on is I don't complain about the jaggies. You know, I don't complain about lack of anti-aliasing, but when I do, that means it's really bad, and this is really bad, even on the beautiful setting, and there's no option for it whatsoever. It doesn't exist. So, not 4 chairs, because I clicked the wrong button. How about 3 chairs? Ha ha ha.
That's about as accurate as he is in Epistory. So let's get that out of the way. Shiny and Sounds. Yeah, I really like the origami style. It's a very nice visual aesthetic, which really holds together up until you hit the area or you hit that spot where it reveals the next bit of the map you got to traverse on. As it unfolds, it stutters, and you get so much jaggies. Oh man, the jaggies all over the place. So it looks like you will literally get like paper cut to death if you were a regular person walking on that land. But yeah, other than that, the art style is really, really good looking. And the voice acting, yeah, that lady sounds like she's reading a story. Boy, does she read it. The text shows up and she says the words, and she sounds like someone reading. So, I mean, for what that is, it's competently done. And yeah, of course, there's the pew pew sound effects. That's very, very much with the pew. I'll give that 3 chairs.
Yeah, seriously, where the hell is the anti-aliasing? And why can't I disable depth of field? Because the only type of aliasing you get is just the shitty blur effect that you get around the borders of the screen. Why can't I disable that? Seriously. I mean, like Vin and Jordan already mentioned, the art style is very well done, even if the monsters look a bit anachronistic in this particular world, because everything seems to be made of paper, including the girl and the fox. But the monsters, well, let's just say I'm pretty sure I've seen some of those monsters in McDroid. Yeah, those are probably assets. But, you know, for the shiny and the sounds that are actually spot on as far as the pew pews get a bit annoying after a while, especially if you are doing one of the game's interpretations of boss fights and basically all you can hear is the pew pews going off. They get a little bit annoying after a while, but not enough to ding it more than 1 chair, so 3 chairs.
Actually, during the boss fights, all I can hear is the clacking of my mechanical keyboard. But that's 3 chairs for Shiny and Sounds. Speaking of keyboards, how about Control, Ben?
Clackety clack clack. I grew up with a mechanical keyboard, so you can just die in a fire. As soon as they got quiet, I was like, oh, thank you, sir. I'll have me some of that. Pro tip, this does not work with my Nintendo Power Pad. Completely distraught about that, but I'm going to try to get over it. It's a typing game. It's going to work with the keyboard organ. Kind of hard to screw that up. They didn't really screw that up. When you first start, you're like, oh, this is bullshit, because they try to get you on the home keys to control, and they're like, oh, yeah, by the way, you can use WAS. And I was like, oh, you just saved yourself right there, Brad. Really, the only complaint I have is maybe it exists. I couldn't find it. Pedro, do you know, is there a way to control the camera in this?
Nope.
Okay, thank you. Brilliant. Because, sometimes it's like something would unlock. I didn't even know that was there because I couldn't see it. And, 90% of the time, the camera is on spot. But it's at 10% of the time, we're like, all right, got to go to the overworld map, which, until you upgrade that ability, which we'll be talking about later on, requires, hitting tab, which is really bad for a menu item in a typing game if you're just asking me about it. But nothing to complain about outside of lack of camera control, so I'm going to give us a solid 3 chairs in that department.
Yeah, seriously, how the hell am I supposed to play this game on my Steam controller? How am I supposed to sit back on my couch and play it with the areolas? No, I mean, come on, guys. It's nice that they actually give you a few options on how to move. You can use your WASD, you can use the arrow keys, which I'm sure Pedro is ecstatic about. But they also give you an option. You can use EF and IJ to navigate, and boy, that control scheme will give VI some nightmares. Let me tell you. Once you unlock sprint, I'm like, oh man, this is gonna go fast because I saw Pedro's notes like, oh yeah, you'll zoom. No, it's you very slightly pick up the pace and move a teensy smidge faster. Which, I mean, doesn't really help you in combat because you have to stay put in order to type the words to murder things. But like Ben said, it's a typing game. As long as it interprets your key presses, I do not see how you could get anything less than 3 chairs.
Yeah, it honestly interprets your key presses just fine. I realized that whenever it did miss something was not because it wasn't actually registering my inputs, it's just because I had pushed the wrong key, so my bad on that. But if I actually had to pick at the nits on the controls, is that even though the mouse doesn't get any use outside of the menu navigation, because again, you have absolutely no camera control, they couldn't figure out how to hide the cursor in the game proper. Mm-hmm. So you'll get out of the menu and there's the mouse cursor. It's easy to hide, which, again, leads me to believe this is done with either Unity 3 or one of the early versions of Unity 4. Still, the controls for what they are, they work until they don't. So, 4 chairs.
All right, that's 3 chairs for control. And finally, fun. Ben, did you have fun playing Mavis Bacon teaches pyrokinesis?
Yes, I actually did. Well, you got to put yourself in the proper mindset because you got to remember that, I mean, this is a game for kids. Circle. Some people will get that. Or adults who genuinely hate themselves because we've all learned how to touch type very fastly. I never thought I would actually rage quit a typing game. But here we are, ladies and gentlemen, and that definitely happened more than once. Not really rage quit. In my old age, it's more of a very stern Alt F4. Being a Unity game, that nopes like a champ. That kind of first happened during the first dungeon when you get your first real baddie swarm, and I was like, damn it, this is getting serious. And it's kind of complicated because I have a 28-inch 4K displayed monitor, and when you're typing these words, they're not right in front of your fucking eye organs. They're all over the place, and you're like trying to go gecko vision on these things and pick them up. That can be a bit challenging. And it's kind of fun though. I mean, when I say challenging, not bad type of challenging, but definitely the fun type of challenging. One thing that it's kind of hard with me, I kind of had that epiphany last night when we were recording Trying Again, is, I maybe you can kind of pick that up. I put a pneumatic nail gun through my hand when I was doing some laboring.
The entire nail gun?
Yes, I mean, it went clean through. So I only have, if I'm being generous, maybe 8 to 10% feeling in it. Most of it's over here. So, yeah, I always have to do a cursory glance down to the keyboard to get my home keys, but once those are established, so that was a new level of challenging. Found it fun, because at the end of the day, take that shot. I mean, this game made me squint. It was like, all right, fucker, let's go. We're going to do this. I mean, it brought me back to it a couple of times, but and again, I'm in the mindset of like, okay, if I'm learning how to type and doing all that, even as an adult, big ass air quotes over that, I felt it was all right. Maybe a little bit on the high side in the price, but definitely, if not the best, even though it's a little broken, but they're working on the updates. Typing instructor for the Linux, and that's probably another conversation for another time, but I was kind of curious to say, I wonder if I could play this, like, with a remote, with my thumbs on a mobile, because I probably type faster with my thumbs than I can currently type with a keyboard, but I like it. I got some extra thoughts that I'll reserve for our final thoughts, but yeah, for fun, I'm going to give it a 3.
Yeah, man, I haven't had this much stress typing since my DCN 3D6 final, and that was a 15-page essay that I had to complete in 2 hours. Well, see, my problem is that I got to read what's on screen, and because all the words are everywhere on this giant-ass 28-inch monitor in front of my face, I occasionally start typing the second word in the chain that you're supposed to type instead of the first one. And yeah, when dozens of things are piling at you, it's a very quick way to get killed to death. And my fingers kept defaulting to WAS, which kept giving me some delay when I was hammering out words. And at one point, I actually had to type "wow, wow, 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 wow" in order to unlock a chest. I mean, it's a typing game. I never really enjoyed like typing tutor games like Mavis Beacon and whatnot. I mean, it does a semi-competent job up until you get to the water temple. Everyone loves water temples in games, right?
Mm-hmm.
Except this one has a nasty bug where you need to type 2 things in rapid succession in order to progress, but it doesn't let you type the second thing. I was talking with Pedro earlier. He ran into that bug a lot later than I did, but it's still in the same location. Yep. And at that point, I put the game down because clearly I put in more effort in playing this game than anyone attempted to QA this game. But I mean, yeah, you type words, they show up on screen. It basically just becomes a giant clusterfuck of how fast can you type. And Ben brought up a very good point last night while we were recording Trying Again. If you slow down, the game becomes easier because I'm just hammering out words and then they just start sending more shit at me. Oh, I don't know. I didn't like this game. It's not my cup of chainsaw. I'll give it 1 share, man. It's not good.
Actually, I thought I actually enjoyed this game. This is the kind of game that will teach you the meaning of hypopotamonstrosesquipedaliophobia. Or should I say it would if you could progress past chapter 2, because like Jordan already mentioned, the game is broken. You cannot pass the drowned holes, and this is very much an issue. What this game does do is bring out the vituperator in me. Pair that with my inherent corporalia, and you'll probably think whatever deity you worship, I'm cutting the fun segment a bit shorter than usual, just like the developers did when they cocked up this game. 1 chair.
All right, so that's 1 chair for fun. And if we total all this stuff, we get a 2-chair game, which is not sure if want on the chairometer. The chairometer? Whatever. try spelling that in Epistory. So, gentlemen, final thoughts.
I don't know. I mean, ultimately, I wanted to play this because I had pulled up our YouTube demographics for what they're worth. And pretty much the average trend we have in there is the ages between 25 and 45. We're all old. Let's just get over it. And I'm bringing that up because, if you don't already have kids, maybe you know kids. That's not creepy to know, like, nieces and nephews and all that. And you don't like them. So you buy them a game that teaches them things. And this will hopefully teach them 2 things. That, you probably need to do a little more QA on your damn game before you ship it on Linux, unlike these people manage not to. And the second one is, I don't know. I mean, it's an all right game. I have hope for this game. I want to have hope for this game because, unlike most typing tutorials and all that, this is an actual proper game. Like Empty was like, shit, there's upgrades and stuff. I was like, yes, this is an actual proper game that you could play and enjoy, even as air quote adult. But until they sort it with that price, I don't think we can wholly recommend it.
Yeah, this game taught me about the Steam achievement comparison option that you have. This is how I know that Ven didn't get to the point that both me and Jordan did. It also taught me that even though my average typing speed is about 38 words per minute, I used to be better than that. Jordan's is 47. But while I managed to type 169 characters without making a mistake, Jordan couldn't get past 60.
Yeah, playing this game on drugs is fun, isn't it?
Yeah. So, did you honestly think that I was going to use my last words to say whether or not it'll be worth buying this game after it's fixed? Nah,
Yes.
That's how I get my rocks off. Don't like it? Go orbit a black hole.
I mean, technically we are, because there's a supermassive black hole in the center of the galaxy, Pedro. Don't you know anything about science? Well, I know a thing or two about typing, apparently. As I've discovered, I am the fastest typist on
That's
Linux
just
Gamecast.
redundant.
I honestly did not see that coming. And that's all I can say about this game. Other than don't buy it. Or, I mean, if you like typing games, if you're a fan of Typing of the Dead. Or if they actually manage to fix this, I would recommend picking it up if it gets on sale. Because as far as it goes, it's all right at best.